Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, gratefully recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with somebody who might get something out of it. Other than that, happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope nobody get caught in those thunder showers. We just got some torrential, beautiful thunder and lightning storm run through Boston. It was pretty wild. Streets starting to flood and cleared right up. Back to 90 degrees and hot and steamy. Anyway. Guys, Friday, first of all, as you guys know, that's my AA home group day. And I was really happy I made it today. I was actually doing an emergency water leak in the building I live in. And you know what? I went out and bought some new equipment this week. And I tell you, I spent a little bit of money on it, but it saved me a lot of time. When I started this job at 11 o'clock, I didn't think for a second I was going to make it to my meeting. But because I'd spent money appropriately, it saved me about 3 hours worth of work on the job, and I found myself finishing up at about 11:50, and just had enough. I was maybe 2 minutes late walking into my meeting. But again, every time I go there, guys, it's like coming home. You know, it's like seeing family. Friday, packed house, and we did a reading on self-care, so we're going to talk a little bit about self-care today, and it was amazing, guys. And you know, so as I always say, first of all, any of my home group watching the video, love you guys. I absolutely. And it's a shame. I had a very busy day today. Today was our business meeting, and then everybody was going out to fellowship, going out to lunch, and I was actually really upset I couldn't make it. But I did have a previous engagement, meeting a new client. And this is a realtor that's going to be able to offer me a lot of work, so I had to make a choice. And it was a tough choice. I love going out to fellowship and hanging out with my friends from my AA home group, but I did have a prior engagement, so I did have to go do that. But you know, one thing I won't do is you know, I will make whatever concessions I can to not miss my Friday meeting, and I'm so glad I went because it was a great meeting and a lot of wisdom and a lot of good things heard, and you know, and I was actually reading from the daily reflection I was going to do, but you know what, we're just going to go right into the self-care, because that's what we were talking about today at the meeting, and I think it's a really important topic. Guys, self-care is not selfish, and that's something I thought for the longest time, and I'm stepping up my self-care constantly, whether it's the fact that I go to bed earlier. This morning, I've been very, very busy lately. Work's been fantastic. And I purposely don't schedule anything on Friday, so when my alarm went off this morning, I realized I didn't have to jump right out of bed. So I shut my alarm off and I went right back to sleep and said I'll wake up when I wake up, and I ended up sleeping until almost 10 o'clock, and it felt great. Got up and I did the emergency job I had at my building, made my meeting, went and met with a new client, knocked out a job while I was there, billable hours. Yeah, and fantastic. And guys, a lot of what is going right with my life today, again, it's the culmination of working my program, but a big part of my program is self-care. I was talking about it, I spoke at the meeting today, and it's amazing to me the amount of time I spend on self-care today, whether it's just, you know, I actually buy skincare products today to take care of my appearance. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I take a daily vitamin every day. I take, you know, I have a plant-based shake that I replace. I try to have one every morning. I drink high polyphenol, a tablespoon of high polyphenol olive oil. That's very expensive, but it's a great product. I do that every day. And the difference, I used to be somebody that suffered a lot of digestive issues, and I mostly attributed it to my active addiction, but I noticed even in sobriety, I was still not very regular, and I would often deal with bloating. And since I've been taking my shake and the high polyphenol olive oil, I don't have the bloating anymore. Like my clothes fit better. Even though I'm still gaining weight, I'm not gaining it in the waist. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I could certainly use about 1 billion sit-ups to, you know, tone my stomach up a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I feel better. My digestive tract is much better. Now, on top of that, I study. I do a lot of Abraham and Esther Hicks podcasts. I do a lot of different stuff, guys. I take my courses at Harvard. Very, very challenging course, but I love taking it because I'm learning. And then I write papers for that class, and I'm shocked at what I write. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe how much of this I'm absorbing. Wednesday night, you guys know I had to drop my, hurry up and finish my video and shoot over to my OBAT clinic for my monthly doctor's appointment and meeting. I meet with my therapist weekly. I meet with my my recovery advisor and recovery coach weekly. I go to my AA group weekly, right? I do a lot of things for self-care. I make sure I sleep well. I eat well. I don't, I mean, I have, I'll get a takeout meal about once a month. Other than that, I make homemade meals here at home. Another thing I've been noticing I take care of, guys, is when things come in the mail today, I open my mail and I take care of things immediately. Like, I have SNAP EBT program, and I had gotten a notice saying that if I didn't do an interview with them, I had to do an interim report, and then I had to do an able-bodied working class. And in the past, those are all things I would never follow through, and then I'd lose my EBT. And today, I'm like, you know what? I could afford to lose it, but I don't want to. I'm saving for appropriate things. It's a valuable resource, and I'm getting it because I'm in recovery, and it's part of the program. So I scheduled a phone interview, and I did it. And it took about 5 minutes over the phone. When I explained what I was doing, she said, yep, you're good. As a matter of fact, your surgery excludes you from having to work do any of the other programming, even though you're working anyway. And boom, right there. Now my EBT is secured. Guys, these are all things I never did, but because I put my needs first before anything else, things fall into place. I will talk about briefly. I have made it official. The gentleman who took the truck from my garage and didn't pay the bill has not reached out, so I'm done. I was speaking to one of his workers today. One of his employees called me today. We were talking, and I'm like, you know what? That's it. Just let him know. I'm fine. You don't have to pay the bill, but don't call me anymore. I blocked his number on my phone. I can finally. It's the only person in my life that causes me any stress and causes me to step out of alignment, and the only person is active using that I deal with and make concessions for. And sure enough, he's now robbed me of $1,000. So boom, done. There you go. That's off the table. The new client that I met with today, I was talking to him about the fact that I'm in recovery and I post these videos. And his brother is somebody that was in recovery and has had a relapse. And he was telling me that the trouble with his brother's in today. He's like, oh, just on a side note, he tried to get his brother to reach out to me and come to a meeting with me, and he declined. And now he's just been let go from the Somerville Housing Authority. He was caught stealing pills out of somebody's medicine cabinet. And he's probably looking at legal repercussions, and he just lost a fantastic job with the city, and it's just a shame. And I told him, I said, Josh, give him my number. I let him know he can reach out, but all I'm going to tell him is exactly what you're going to tell him. You got to go to rehab, man. You got to. And anybody out there still suffering, surrender. Go to rehab. Get better, because, guys, life is so much better on this side of things. My self-care routine shocks me constantly, and I see the results from it immediately and constantly. I get complimented. Where I used to hide so much, I was so embarrassed the way I look today. I bump into people that I haven't seen, and they're absolutely shocked. Tell me I look 10 years younger than I did 6 months ago. I'm 60 pounds heavier. I'm healthy. I'm clear. I've got a clarity about me, right? I've got financial stability. I'm developing financial security for long term. I'm actually putting a long-term retirement plan into action by investing in properties. All stemming from developing my relationship with my higher. First of all, putting down the drugs. Sobriety's number one. The most important thing in my life is my sobriety. If I make one slip, I'm done. Because first of all, my drug of choice is heroin, so I probably wouldn't survive it the first time. I'd be done. But even if I allowed another drug into my system or other medications, that's why I was so adamant when I went through surgery that I wouldn't let them administer narcotics into my body, guys. Not because I'm afraid it's going to reset my date, because if it's taken properly, I don't consider that a relapse. But my concern is, I know what's happened in the past. Once I've gotten high, that monster switch is activated, and my way of thinking changes. My belief structure dissolves. My moral aptitude that I'm putting together in this life is immediately gone, and then everything I've built is pissed out the window, and I'd be, right back where I started, or worse if not dead, in a matter of weeks, if not months, months, if not weeks. But I don't have to let that happen today, guys, because you can instead of plateauing or getting comfortable, I continue to challenge myself to step up and increase my relationship with my higher power through prayer and meditation. Guys, I don't get out of bed in the morning until I've said my prayers and done a morning meditation, and then I don't go to sleep at night until I fall asleep during a 2-hour meditation, and then I usually wake up a little bit after that, and I'll put on a nightly subliminal, and I listen to subliminal reprogramming all night long, guys, and it just backs up and changes your way of thinking. I don't listen to the radio. I don't watch the news. I don't read newspapers. Like, I try to keep everything upbeat and positive. Obviously, I'm online quite a bit, so I get caught up with current affairs as much as I'm willing to that way. But if I can't control it and I can't make a difference in it, I don't want it renting space in my mind, because I'm going through my self-care act by reprogramming the way I think and the way I look at the outside world. And I'm so incredibly happy with the results, because where before I could care less about other people, and I'm ashamed to say that, but it's the absolute truth. I'm just being honest. I didn't care. If you didn't have something to offer me drug-related or a way to get to drugs, I didn't want to listen to it. And even then, even if I was listening with one ear and going out the other. Today, I engage with people. I see somebody struggling. I stop and offer a hand. As a matter of fact, just earlier, I was on my way to meet the new client. There's a lady out there looking underneath their car. I thought maybe she had a flat tire or a brake hanging up, so I pulled right over. And I'm like, ma'am, are you okay? And she was fine. She thought a ball had rolled under her car. But, like, she's like, well, thank you. I could see how much it meant to her that I'm willing to help. And I love that about myself today, guys. Because more often than not, I can help. And it does make a difference. And it just makes me feel better about who I am. At the end of the day, I come home and I'm happy with my day. I make positive decisions for myself and others. But I understand that my self-care has to be number one, because if I'm not taking care of myself, nobody else is going to do it for me. Guys, we teach the rest of the world how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. You've got to give yourself value, because every one of us has value inherently by being who we are. If you know you're doing wrong, then stop it. We all do wrong. We all make mistakes, and we're all going to continue to make mistakes. But today, I arrest behaviors before they become habits. And I love that. It's changed the person that I am, and I love the person that I am. I'm coming to find that I'm a kind, compassionate, wise, strong, healthy, hardworking person. Like, I go out of my way to help others. I love these things about myself today, guys, and you can too. Again, there are negative attributes about me, but I'm working on them, and every time I find one, I work to strengthen them. And because my relationship with my higher power is so strong, that I find no sooner than I speak on it, than I find an avenue to change that dropped into my path immediately. I call that being in alignment, and that's something everybody is capable of, guys. If you find your soul's true purpose for being here, the lessons that you need to learn, and then you actively apply those to your life, you will see miracles manifest in your life in the shortest period of time. I'm not saying it's going to happen like that, but you know what? Find a behavior you don't like about yourself and change it for 3 weeks. Give yourself a 3-week challenge. Actively take action every day to change that behavior for the better. Every day, day in and day out for 3 weeks. And if your life hasn't changed after 3 weeks in some way, shape, or form, you don't feel better about who you are, then call me a liar and go back to doing what you're doing. But I promise you, it won't happen. Anything you do to be a better person is going to be rewarded in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's financially, whether it's monetarily, whether it's physically, or whether it's just spiritually and emotionally. Guys, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your spiritual health is incredibly important. The more you get yourself into alignment, right? The more love you have for yourself, the more you act in a way that you can love the person that you are, the more kind and considerate you are for those around you, the more blessings you'll just magnetize into your life, literally. The goodness in my life has got its own momentum at this point. It's got its own gravity. And what it's doing is it's pulling more and more beautiful experiences into my existence. I'm just watching my life grow and expand in the most beautiful ways in every direction. And I absolutely love it. It is the most encouraging thing I've ever seen in my life. And so what I do is, instead of just saying, okay, boom, I've made this, and then just, rest of my laurels, I continue to expand, because I know I've got a long way to go, because there's still a lot of untapped potential in me. And I want to see how far I can take this thing. I want to see how many lives I can take back from addiction. What a difference I can make in as many people's lives as possible, because it makes me feel good about who I am. Guys, it's not that difficult, but it starts with finding your higher power, developing a relationship with your higher power. By all means, shed the drugs and alcohol if you have a problem with them. I'm not saying if you smoke a joint casually, legally once a week, then that's fine. But if you're, if you have a problem or not, if you get help, seek the help you need, guys. I'm the last person to sit there and tell you, don't go get help. Guys, I used to be that way. I'll never go to therapy. This isn't for me. I don't need a doctor. This, but. No, man. I'm healthier than I've ever been because I'm taking help at every opportunity. And then I take whatever resources don't apply to me and I find somebody whose they do apply to and I pass them on to somebody else. Like, I am a part of my community. I'm a part of a lot of things today, and that makes me feel wonderful about who I am. Guys, that's the lesson for today. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's safe. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one.